Okay, guys, so the big project that we're going to be working on in FileMaker Pro this semester, um, we need to understand a couple of concepts. Talking about mapping a database is kind of the topic right now. So, when we're planning our database, we want to be thinking about relationships of different records to other types of records. So, in the case of our current record, we're looking at the relationships we needed there. It's a simple database we've just created in class. We've created this very simple relationship. We have a student and we have forms, right? Very straightforward. Um, so when we looked at the in managed database relationship, what we see is we see these uh, again these student table over on the left, and on the right we have the forms, and we see this connector going between them, right? So we have the student record ID here, and the student record ID FK, that foreign key over here in the form section, so we can keep an idea of what that relationship looks like. So it's a really simple relationship called one to many, one student to many forms, right? So as we see in this example here on the left-hand side, we have Portia Acosta, her one record, but she could have many session plans, really unlimited number of session plans. Um, but every one of those session plans is set up to have one particular client or one particular student in it. So a student has many forms or can have many forms, but a form can only have one student related to it. Okay, so that's a one-to-many relationship. So one-to-many relationships, of course, are connected in this way that we have on the left-hand side, we have our familiar relationships dialog set up in the managed database settings, and then in the real world, in our document, we have this layout that gives us the student or the client and a whole bunch of forms that are connected with them, right? So that's one to many. That's our first concept. The second concept is one that's a little more complicated. It's called many to many relationships. And this is a case where you might have a student table, a list of students with first name, last name, grade, email, whatever information, student ID number, of course. But then we have a class table, right? A table of classes that are available for them to enroll in. A student can have many classes, right? A class can have many students. So this is where we get this many to many relationship. In other words, a student can have 5 classes, and any one of those classes could have 20, 30, 40 students in it or more, right? So you need a way to join these multiple students to multiple classes and kind of keep track of who's in what. This is where we introduce a concept of a table that joins them together. And the idea is that we have a student table here as normal, student ID number, first name, last name, grade, email, whatever. Then we have another table, and that's the table of classes, right? So could be music tech could be a class, Tiddlywinks could be another class, advanced scuba diving, whatever it might be. But each of those classes has a unique ID number, has a class title, a teacher, semester, location, those sorts of things. So what we do now is we need a third table that is the join table that's going to collect a couple of bits of information. And that join table is going to have student ID num FK and a class ID num FK. Again, it's going to keep track of a record of this class ID number here in this field in the join table, the class ID num FK, and the student ID num. It's going to keep that stored in the student ID num FK, right? So this is our many-to-many relationships. So when you look at the same setup when we're looking in the managed database window, we have this basic setup here, right? So on our left we have our students, on the right we have our class, and in the middle is that join table, right? And you see those connectors going one to the other. Again, using class ID num connected to join student class, the class ID FK, and the student record ID connected to student ID FK, right? So the net effect then is that we have essentially three different tables going on. We have a student record, we have a class, and we have a joint student class. You can see down there, there are a whole bunch of wacky old numbers, huge numbers in there. Fortunately, we never have to monkey with those. We can have the computer do it for us, right? So that's basically what many-to-many looks like, and now I'll just give you kind of a little quick show of what it looks like in the real world. Right? So in our sample database here, we have a student record and we have a class record. Right? So the idea here is that our student, Carrie Branch, is enrolled in a class called Advanced Tiddlywinks. But we can have other students enrolled in that. So Sharonda Dewberry, we can have her enrolled in that class as well. And we just use this button down here, add to a class, to add her into the class. And what should happen here in a second, if we're living right. Sorry, here's the little dialog that pops up. And this is our class selector. It says, okay, class, what do you want? What class do you want? Well, right now I only have one here, so I'll add Advanced Tiddlywinks in there. And you'll see over here in the class called Advanced Tiddlywinks, Sharonda Dewberry shows up as a student in that class. And sure enough, we go back to her student record, we can see, yeah, she's enrolled in Advanced Tiddlywinks. Now I'm going to create a new class. It's Music Tech Spring 2020, Zog 114. Okay, so I have that. I don't have any students enrolled in that, right? But if I wanted to add Sharonda to that class, I just click Add to Class. I have this little wonky setup right now. It's showing up on my other screen. It's supposed to pop up here. But anyway, so you see now we have a new class I can add her to. I click Music Tech, and sure enough, there she is. She's right there, right? And I can go to any student. I'm going to add Gaston to my class. Again, sorry, this is going to my other monitor. That's what's a little confusing. And I'll add Gaston to Advanced Tiddlywinks. Right? If I go to Advanced Tiddlywinks, I see Gaston Fenwick is in there. All right? So this is an example of many-to-many. Well, what's going on in the background is you're going to pop out this, pull up this little join table here for you. So this is the join table that's running in the background. It's going to show, so Gaston's student ID number, student ID FK, and the class ID FK get placed in here. Again, like I said, the fortunate thing is you don't need to monkey, or you never need to see those things. You just need to know what it is that you need to capture in the process of adding a student to a class. All right. So your next step in this is kind of investigate a little bit some of these relationships, and I want you to create mapped out database for yourself that's going to have how many tables you need, what relationships they are. Is it one-to-many or many-to-many? And then kind of diagram it out. And we'll have you turn that in and go from there. All right? Happy file makering.